All right, guys, I'm back again. And today I'm going to talk about hey, how do you make extra income to retire early or even extra income in retirement? And these are just some of my tricks and I'd use. Some of them I use, some of them I don't because they don't make enough for me to really put effort into. But before I get into that, please like and subscribe to the video. And a disclaimer is hey, I'm not a financial expert. I'm not your financial consultant. I'm not your business consultant. And yeah, let's keep moving forward. So before you take any of these advice, please talk to a financial expert or a business consultant to make sure you don't do anything wrong and you don't risk your retirement or whatever you're trying to do. But how to make extra income to retire? And one of them is dividends. You know, what is a dividend? Well, it's a stock you own that pays you. It's a true passive income by retirement, right? So pretty much you own a piece of company, you own one stock, it might give you pennies, it might give you $1, it might give you $10. It just counts on the dividend yield it gets, and you can make a pretty good dividend portfolio that gets you 4 or 5% on your money. So you can have $100,000 and you can get paid passively, 4% off of that. And that's the realistic of it. And it's pretty useful. That's one of the methods I use to, and it's nice. But there's a downside, you have to have a large amount of money in it, or you have to put in a really high dividend stock, which then the growth of the stock is almost nothing. And that's the reality of it. Now, the other way you can retire early or make extra income in retirement is, rent out a room on or rent out real estate. And the downside of it is that room or that real estate might not be renting out every month. It might take 6 months someone to rent it. Or, there's no one that's really wanted to rent out in the area. So you do Airbnb and you find out, hey, half these people are tearing up my houses. I'm not getting a return. There is a downside to it, but you can use it and you can make money from renting out your room or finish out, your garage to put a room in there. You can pretty much just make extra room and put a room somewhere and house someone. And you can make some extra income. You can do that, or you can get a rental house before you retire or in the process of retiring and rent it out. Now, it doesn't always work out as planned, so you be careful with it. That one is a good and bad one to use, and it's not really passive income if you have to do work in it, but people consider it passive income because people work and then they give you money, but if something breaks, you're the one dealing with it. So either you get a property manager, you do it, you still deal with it at the end of the day. You can be a professional consultant if you, guess what, if you're retiring from an X career as a professional, or if you are a professional in a respected field, you can be a consultant. I can be a business consultant for people, but I tend to not do business consulting or financial consulting because it's not worth the time and effort for me. If I'm really bored, and companies come up to me, yeah, I give them my advice, but I really don't charge for it because it's just advice and they don't really take much of my time. I talked to some of the big corporation before, some of the managements, and they asked my advice or my opinion on it. And due to our friendship, I just give them it for free because it's not worth the money you charge them because then you can be liable for the advice you give to people. And that's why I don't like getting paid for it because you're liable after that. You can create, online content It's another method like I am doing right now because it is a passive income. You make one video, two videos, 100 videos, 1,000 videos, and you just put it up there, and then eventually someone watch it after your subscribers count goes up. At the end of the day, you post a video, someone will eventually see it, and they will end up wanting to watch and take advice from you if you are an expert. If you're not an expert, that people aren't really going to watch you because you're not really giving any advice. You're not giving any useful advice, at least, and people don't like it. So, what's the some more? You can get a part-time job in retirement or for a side. You know, it's not the best idea if you're working a full-time job and you're trying to retire early, but you can get a part-time job. And in retirement, yes, you can get a part-time job, but you have to remember if you retire early or you're collecting certain amount of pension, you are limited to how many hours you work. And if you're working a full 9 to 5, you are limited how many hours you work because you have to dedicate your 9 to 5 to that time to that company. It just makes no sense to try to work two full-time jobs because if you're supposed to put 40 hours in both company, it's not, to me, it's not proper. Because if it's a working for a company, I wouldn't be happy about if someone had two or three full-time job, and that means, hey, I'm either not giving you enough work or you're not producing enough, and there's people are gonna might hate on it, but be honest, if you're a programmer and you have two jobs as a programming, you it's kind of conflict of interest there because now you have two full-time jobs and writing a program here and then you go program for another company and you might be stealing information that way and you don't even know it because you're writing a program for here and then you're copying it or it's relevant to one another. So I would tell you to be very careful. It's just one of those things. You should only have one full-time job. It's impossible to have two full-time job without sacrificing some hours. Now that leads me to the next one, your side hustle or your business, right? So a business is different than having a full-time job because a business is 24/7 job for you. So is that betraying your company? No, because everyone can have a side business or side hobby or side profession that they do to make money because you can make good money on a side hustle or side business, and there's nothing wrong with it because let's say you're selling clothes online that you design. Well, you designed it and then you just print it out and then you have someone else make it, or if you make it on the side, it doesn't affect your main job. It doesn't deal with your main job. But you can make pretty good money making your own clothes and selling it as a designer. You can make pretty good money for making gaming apps if you're a programmer, right? So if you a programmer on the side, you make these gaming apps and one of them blows up and you make money off of it, it could more likely you're not going to make millions and hundreds and 1,000, but you might make 10, 20, 30,000 passively by just having that app, right? Just creating that thing. And that's not really betraying your company because you just put a lot of work on the weekends or you put a lot of work after hours, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's a side hustle. Everyone should be able to get a side hustle in retirement or during the journey because after you work your 9 to 5, you you are going to be sacrificing time with family if your side hustle is too much, right? So I try to stick with side hustles that have very limited um, activity for me to do, such as selling on eBay, selling online products, selling, like, I have an ebook. So that leads me to the next one, write a book, right? So if you write a book, well, you write a book and you did all the work up front and then you publish it on Amazon like I did. Well, I have 3 books. So are they making much money? No. I might make like a dollar every once in a while from it, but I don't work on it no more. So in the future, if someone finds my book or if it gets popular, guess what? I wrote the book and I don't have to do anything else. That's a side income. And my real estate is another example. It's a side hustle. You know, what am I going to do is sit there and watch my own rental properties all day? No, because you don't really put 40 hours into real estate unless you're doing construction for it. And if you're doing construction from it, you can hire all the work out. So that's not really a thing. So those are the methods you can make extra income in retirement. And I can go more into detail later, but biggest part is you can make extra income to retire early. And just because you make 60, 70,000 at your current job doesn't mean you can't pick up a side hustle or one of these activities that I talked about in this video to get you another 30, 40,000 to retire early, or just to have the extra income in your retirement. It's very useful, you know, that my side income bring a good amount, but at the end of the day, if you have a side business and you want to blow it up, cool. But it all depends on your lifestyle and what you have going on in your life. And luckily for me, hey, I have young kids, and it doesn't make sense to really retire early if you have young kids because you really can't travel that much. Be honest with you, you really can't do as much as people think you can. Retirement is for people, to be honest, I think that don't have young kids, and that can be true or false, or however you want to take it.